Cool. All right. Good morning, guys. Welcome to today's video update. I hope everyone is doing very well. Got some exciting stuff to go through today. This should be good fun. So, starting off just by going through an update of where the protocol is at in terms of statistics. So, if we start off with our TVL, if we hop over to the website, this is actually, yeah, we're on a bit of a run there. So, right now we're standing at 444,000. $438 total value locked. For you guys, it's been a quick jump up for you guys who are with us on day two and day three when we're sitting at 19 and 20,000 total value locked. We've done a 200x since then, so very exciting for you guys who are with us from the very beginning. If we look at our tokens, so if we start off with game. So right now we have $180,000 of liquidity with game, which is great. So that's going up and up and up. And in terms of volume, we're at $50,000 in volume over the last 24 hours. With theory, we have $140,000 in liquidity, so that gap is getting smaller, which is good. And we have $70,000 in volume over the past 24 hours. So it's all looking more and more healthy as time passes on. And if we look at our Treasury balance, so the business account, so we've got Treasury 1 and Treasury 2, so they're just split 50-50. So in terms of our stable coins, we've got 12,208 DAI in Treasury number 1. We got 11,687 in Treasury number 2. So in total, that is $23,890 in terms of Treasury funds. How we're allocating those funds is that we're splitting them up into three different buckets. So one bucket we have is dedicated toward our Treasury investments, which I'm going to be talking about in a little bit. 1/3 of them is dedicated towards our marketing budget, towards paying people for different services to help the protocol. And then 1/3 of those is dedicated towards supporting the platform in terms of the form of buybacks or anything we want to do in terms of supporting the price of the tokens. If we look at our NFTs, so if we go on there, we can see that all 100 of the bronze Gen 0 NFTs have been minted. So for any of you guys who are holding those NFTs, that's it. They're now maxed out. The silver NFTs are going to be coming out. I put the date in the announcements. Let me double check. Remember that one. So the date, April 2nd. Oh no, that's the competition, sorry. There we go. So May 12th at 12 p.m. UTC, that is when the silver Generation 0 NFTs are going to be available for minting. So nothing in Generation 0 is going to be available until May 12th for now. So you guys who have those 100 NFTs, those are extremely valuable and they're rare. And over time, as the protocol grows, they're just going to get more and more valuable over time. And then on Monday, the 4th of April, is when the Generation 1 bronze NFTs are going to be coming available as well. So I'd make sure you guys are ready for those as well, because there's going to be a larger supply there. So there's going to be 300 of those bronze Gen 1 NFTs are going to be available. But I would definitely get involved with those ones because we're going to be introducing more and more generations over time. So if you guys are here in the first couple of weeks, acquiring those NFTs, those are going to be very valuable. And if you look over at DeFi Kingdoms and look at how they're structured, you see that the Generation 0 heroes are, I was looking at yesterday, the cheapest Generation 0 hero was $27,000 was like their base floor. And then as it jumped up to the different tiers, they all had different prices. So I would definitely say you guys who've got those NFTs are in a very good position. And in terms of our social channels, so let me go back to the video. There we go. And in terms of our socials, so right now our Discord has 930 members. We're really focused on getting rid of any bots so that is actual users who are in there. And we have 101 followers on our Twitter. So that's where we're doing in terms of statistics. In terms of development updates, so yesterday, things that we got done, so we've now implemented the Zap feature, which is something our community was asking for. So instead of having to go through the multiple steps on Spooky Swap of buying one of the tokens, getting the stablecoin, doing everything in that process, you can just hit a one click and it will just do all of those steps for you. For the work of simplifying everything, there's just a small 0.5% fee on whatever it is that you're depositing into the pool. So that feature is added there for everyone's convenience. We also did an update on the theoretic stats, so adding more information that's been requested by our community so people can see exactly what's going on. There's a lot going on and we're looking at redesigning it. And one of our tasks that's going to be, we're looking at in the near future is we're going to be doing a complete website redesign anyway and having the website in line with the theories and the themes and the color scheme that's going to be present in the game Brutal Network. And so everything is going to flow together. So keep in mind that what you're looking at for the website now is definitely a priority for us. And we're looking to redesign the entire thing. Next point. So very exciting news. So our Treasury investments are now up and running. So the first Treasury investment we made was just based on some of the fees that we got from the Genesis pool. So we had a pool for P Phantom, so Ripay's main token, and then we also had a pool for B Phantom, so for Ripay's bonds. So we staked both of those already. So technically, that they were our first Treasury investment, but the first significant investment that we're going to be making is in DeFi Kingdoms. So based on the fact that we have emulated a lot of their features, and it's something that our developer Sweetie was a very successful early investor in DeFi Kingdoms. We thought that it just made sense for us to make our first investment with them, especially because they are just actually today going cross-chain for the first time. So they're expanding from Harmony, and they're going to have their own subnet, which is through the Avalanche C chain. And so that's launching today at, I think, 12 p.m. UTC is when you can first start moving things over there. So we're going to be staking in the liquidity pool. So we've taken out $5,000 from the Treasury to go and make that first investment. We're going to be in the Joule and XJoule liquidity pool and just taking advantage of the launch of that. So we're going to keep you updated with how that investment is going. And those rewards are going to be going back towards our shareholders, our theory holders. So it's exciting news for our first Treasury investment. We actually have our eyes out on the market looking to hire a full-time treasury manager as we grow. So that's something that we're looking into. So if anyone knows anyone or anyone feels very strongly they have that level of expertise, please get in contact with the core team, because we're always looking to expand and grow the team and invest in our team so we can bring more value to you as our shareholders. And on that note, other big news as well is we have added 2 more members to the core team. So we've added 2 co-heads of marketing who are going to oversee everything to do with our marketing, our communication, and our strategies. So you're going to see them in the Discord once we add them on the roles there. But they are Yorn and they are Yeet. So they are 2 people who are a partnership. So basically like the heads of marketing, but they're working together. So it's like 2 co-heads of marketing who are going to be running everything. Is so you guys know what their initial agenda is going to be, like some of the first things that they're going to attack. The first thing is going to be the Twitter management, so getting the Twitter just really going and having that in sync with the messaging that we're doing across the board. They're going to be having making sure that all of our social channels are in sync with each other. So the messaging that we're giving out in, say, in Discord, it's being broadcasted across all of our different channels. They're also going to be setting up a Telegram page for us so that we're going to be active on that social channel too, because there's a lot of people who enjoy using Telegram and aren't so active on the Discord. A big thing is going to be education. Like, obviously, we have a lot more going on than your typical seniorage protocol. And over time, as our community we have a very smart community. And so we got to make sure that we are we're always on our toes to make sure that any features that we're adding and we're constantly bringing more value to the community. So there's a lot going on. And so for a brand new person coming in, if they're quite new to crypto, if they haven't invested in other seniorage protocols before, it could be quite overwhelming. So a big part of what they're going to be doing is education for people who are new to the process, and to really kind of break down the aspects of the protocol into more bite-sized chunks, make it more manageable, make it easier to understand. We're also going to be looking into very carefully selected influencers on YouTube and on Twitter. So people who are going to be vetting and people who make sure they're actually bought into the vision, bought into the idea, not people who are just going to shill it to their community and look to kind of dump their tokens. So that's something that we're looking into. So if anyone in the community has any recommendations, please get in contact with the marketing team and we can go from there. We're also going to be working on graphics and infographics as well. So Infographics tie into the education piece as well, especially with the seniorage protocols and the different strategies that you can follow. So we have a graphics person who's going to be making those for us. So look out for them coming in the next couple of days or across the next week. Our first infographics. And we're also working on different partnerships, and we're also working on sponsored AMAs as well. So crossover AMAs with different communities. So we will be exposing ourselves to other communities and also vice versa. So look out for that coming. So all of those different things is that's just the initial things, and there's a lot more these guys are going to be working on. So big news for us as well, because really having two people whose primary dedication is going to be on the marketing and the communication, which frees up Sweetie and myself to focus on the development, me to focus on growing the project. And over time, you're going to see more people added to the core team, more people to the team. We have ALT4, who is our head moderator, and the moderation team is growing as well, which really helps us in terms of community engagement, especially having people in different time zones. So when someone comes into the Discord, there'll always be moderators who are knowledgeable about the protocol, who can be able to answer questions. So if you're interested in being a moderator, please contact our head moderator, ALT4, and he can run an interview and explain the process to you as well. So those are our new team members. And kind of tying into that and kind of moving on to the question section. One of the questions I got was about asking if people are able to sell their NFTs now before the NFT marketplace is launched. So Sweetie and I are happy to run an escrow service where if you want to sell an NFT to someone else and they want to buy it from you, and you guys have spoken, like get into each other's DMs, negotiate, and if you've agreed upon a price, what we'll do is we'll act as a middle person. So the seller will send the NFT to one of the Treasury wallets. The buyer will send the funds to the NFT wallet, and then we'll just send it going back the other way. So we'll send the NFT to the person who bought it. We'll send the funds to the person who sold it. And so we'll just act as that middle person up until the NFT marketplace is there. Reason why we would do that is that selling something peer-to-peer is dangerous because, you send your NFT, someone doesn't send you the money back. That's not what you want. But obviously, hopefully, you look at us as a trusted third party to be able to do that for you. So anyone who wants to do that, just make sure that you do all the negotiations first, and then just come to us. I guess we'll just make like a three-person chat just to make sure both of the people are in agreement, and then we can do that transfer for you. So that's a service that we're now offering until the NFT marketplace is launched. And then the other question, which is that on the chat, people were talking a lot about bonds and how they work and inflation and how that all works out. And I think what that all really does is that the issue with bonds is that they are kind of a plaster, a band-aid solution for a larger problem. And the larger problem is, do people actually value the tokens? So the way that I look at it is that everything about the protocol's success comes down to the value of the share token. It comes down to the value of theory. Because if you see the value in holding theory, and if theory has the genuine utility, you want to hold theory. In order to get theory, you have to be staked you have to go into the liquidity pools to farm it. So you either have to make a game DAI liquidity pool or a theory DAI liquidity pool, and that allows you to farm theory. DAI should be less volatile because it is game should be less volatile because it's pegged to DAI. So there should be a lot of demand to go into the game DAI liquidity pool to earn theory. If theory is valuable, you don't want to sell it. So the best way to use theory without selling it is you stake it into theoretics. That creates game tokens. And then when you have those game tokens, if you really value theory, you shouldn't want to sell all those game tokens. You should want to farm more theory. So then the smart thing to do would be to compound a lot of that game into one of the liquidity pools so you can farm more theory and then repeat that process again. So the issue of inflation, the issue of bonds, those all really tie back to, is theory valuable? Because if the community looks at theory as very valuable, it will just be natural for them to not be selling all of their game tokens, because it'd be a lot smarter for them as an investment to compound the majority of their game emissions or the game rewards from theoretics and put them into the liquidity pool. So that is really our number one focus as a community. And we didn't put this out in different infographics, but we see that the most effective strategy for investors in terms of their own long-term benefit that benefits the protocol as well is if you stake in one of the two liquidity pools, so either in game DAI or in theory DAI, you get your theory rewards. take those theory rewards, put all 100% of those rewards into theoretics, and then you get your printed game tokens from theoretics. Take those game tokens, and we look at it as a 45, 45, 10 compounding strategy where you take 45% of your game rewards, put them into the game DAI liquidity pool. You take the other 45% of your game rewards and you put them into the theory DAI liquidity pool, and then you take 10% of your game rewards and you take that as profit. And then you repeat that cycle. So take all of your farm theory tokens from both pools, put them into theoretics, get your game rewards from theoretics, 45% back into liquidity pool 1, 45% into liquidity pool 2, and then take profits on your 10%. And the reason why that is the smartest strategy for you as an investor is because the protocol having value, us working on creating utility for theory tokens, means that over time, your theory is going to get more and more valuable. Meaning that over time, the theory that you're farming in the liquidity pool is going to become more and more valuable. And then, so by putting it into theoretics, you're just accumulating more and more and more theory over time. And that theory is going to work for you by giving you a medium of exchange, which is what the game token is designed to be. That's the point of the game token. It's designed to be able to be bought and sold and moved around easily. It's designed to be the equivalent of currency, of a dollar. It's like the whole idea of a currency is that it's a service. You exchange that dollar, and in return, you're able to buy products and buy services. That's what we want game to be. Theory, the idea of that is supposed to be shares in a company. And it's like, if you own lots of shares in a huge company, you don't want to sell those shares because in theory, those shares should go up and up and up over time. So you want to not sell them unless, the idea of when would be a good time to sell would be, you want to make a big purchase. Like, oh, you know what? I want to go on a vacation with my partner or with my friends. I'm going to take a small percentage of my shares and I'm going to sell them for doing that, but it's only like a big reason why you would liquidate some of your shares. Ideally, you want to hold them over the long term. And really, if you're investing smartly in the stock market, you want to be holding that portfolio for your entire life. And then you pass those down to your kids. And that's how you get generational wealth. That's how we want our investors to look at it, that theory tokens are the shares in the protocol, and that's what you want to accumulate and hold over the long term because that's what has value. The game tokens, you use that medium of exchange, and its value comes from being able to give you more farm theory tokens. So that's what it is that we're working towards. If anyone has any ideas about utilities that we can keep on adding to the theory token, please let us know because that's what we're working on. We have a couple proposals that we're looking into the logistics of right now. One of the great ideas that we're looking into was modeling the X token model, where it's essentially like kind of what WMemo was supposed to be, what DeFi Kingdoms do with Joule and X Joule, where your theory tokens would be handed in, and in return for that, you would get an X theory token, which would then be a representative of those theory tokens, and they would go up in value over time, whether it's because we add more theory tokens from the Treasury's allocation to that pool, whether it's coming from us taking our profits from the investments that we're making from the Treasury and then adding those more into buying more theory tokens, putting those into the pool too. So that's just one of the ideas that we're looking into, plus a bunch of other ones too. So our focus, like we look at it as an agreement between us as the core team and our investors, is that our job is to keep on adding more and more and more utility to the theory tokens to make it so that the most smart thing for our investors to do for themselves as shareholders is to hold their theory tokens, to keep on compounding, not asking them to do it because it's a Ponzi scheme and it makes no sense. Ask them to do it because the theory token has genuine utility and that value is going to keep on going up over time because we have sources of revenue that are allowing us to give more value to the theory token. And all of this is before the game even gets released, because once the game has our beta game out, and then once we have the full version of the game out, then the extra utilities coming from theory will be coming from the gameplay, and the revenue from the game will be from people playing the game. So as the users of the games increases more and more and more and more, the revenue of the game is going to increase more and more and more. And that revenue will be then funneling it into our theory token, which will then be funneled, which means it's being funneled into you guys, our shareholders. So that's where we're at as a team. So again, if anyone, that idea we went into was actually a suggestion from one of our community members. We look at all of you guys as shareholders in the true sense, we look at it as a partnership between you and us. So if anyone has any ideas, has any feedback for any of us, please get in contact with one of the core teams, because if we build more utility into the project, that means that you guys as shareholders are doing better. If you help us in any way, that means that you're helping yourself. So we really are all in this together, and we want to make sure that we turn game theory into one of the premier projects in the whole of DeFi. So thanks for turning in for today's update there, guys. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll speak to you soon.